Boys, we are back. Welcome to the first ever Emergency Friday Transfer Update episode of the Squad Talk FPL podcast. I'm your host, Nick Boonstra, aka A Real Boon, aka FPL Cricket, aka Fix Your Teeth, and I'm glad to have you with us. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. I don't even know my schedule. I don't even know when I'm uploading. So how could you know if you didn't hit that bell, that subscription? Those updates will come straight to you. If you like the video, make sure you hit like. Please leave any comments. Tell me how crazy I am. Tell me how boneheaded I am. Tell me why you're suing me for messing up your FPL team. Give me a question to answer. I am here for you. And if you're listening on our audio platforms, or if you're on YouTube but you want to listen on the go, listen, check us out. Spotify, us being literally just me. I edit, I do everything. I am him, I am he. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the works. It's all probably even on Amazon. I don't know. RSS.com just puts it out into the world, and I let the world come to me. So make sure you follow over there for audio episodes. Boys, today I couldn't wait. I'm late for work. We got to make this episode, and we got to make it happen fast because I have made a transfer. In fact, I made two. And they were something. So let's just jump right into it. Mohamed Salah is no longer part of my team. I have gone right ahead and moved Salah out and Lewis Miley out to bring in Cody Gakpo, Dutch legend, and Cole Jermaine Palmer. Boys, we did it. We've done it. He probably won't even start. He may not even play, but he's in our squad. We've gone ahead, added him to the team. Now, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I thinking? So I live at home. I live with my mother, my mum, and I was talking to her over coffee this morning. We're sitting on the couch and we're just waking up chatting. And she doesn't know a thing about FPL. God bless her. You know, who does? Which of us does know anything about FPL? And I'm telling her that I'm thinking about making this move. I've been talking about it on the show, moving out Salah, moving in Palmer, questions about how crazy that would be. And I thought she had a good question. She was like, if someone was asking you what to do, you get someone in the comments with a question and they're thinking of making this move, what would you tell them? And at first I was like, well, Salah's the GOAT. Like, we know who Mo Salah is. We know how good he is. You can't sell him. You certainly can't sell him against Burnley. Everyone else is going to have him. But then I started talking about how, and this was the move I was thinking, Salah to Gakpo, Miley to Palmer, both of those for both of those, doesn't matter who's who. And how Salah, for the price that he is at, has been underperforming, obviously underperforming who we know him to be and who he should be and who he should return to form as against a team like Burnley. And how Cody Gakpo, for literally half the cost, has been the guy so far. I mean, aside from Ekitike, and obviously that's going to be up in the air now that Isak is in the squad. Who knows what that looks like for this specifically game week 4. But he's there, right? So for half the cost, for half the price, a better output, better than Salah so far, certainly better than Wirtz so far. He's the one better. McAllister hasn't even, been able to be a minute's reliability. He's the one. And I've prided myself, with that being the case, I've really prided myself so far this season, all 3 weeks of it, as being ahead of the curve on a lot of things, on Lucas Paquetá, on Diouf, on Erling Haaland, on even Senesi, I would say. And this being in the top 100K gives me an opportunity now to say, okay, do I want to play it safe and try to hold, or do I want to risk and really try to jump ahead without any chips being played yet, without having anything like that done yet? How do I want to play this? How do I want to make this happen? If Cole Palmer is back, I'm getting him before his price shoots back up. I'm getting him on a week against a Brentford defense that's really nothing too special. You know what I mean? On a week when Joao Pedro may not feature for 90 minutes, giving Palmer, that much more of a certainty for penalties, that much more of a certainty just to be scoring the goals himself. And I'm getting in before the rush, before everyone else does. I'm keeping a strong Liverpool asset. I'm keeping the Liverpool asset that has shown himself to be the reliable one for attacking returns so far this season, again, at literally half the cost, which is crazy. And I'm bringing in a super high upside potential. And if he doesn't play, I've got Tarkowski first off the bench. I thought about benching Diouf for West Ham against Tottenham. I still might. There's a small chance I even bench Pedro Porro with all the questions up in the air about how Xavi Simon's coming into the team, another Dutch GOAT. coming into the team affects the set piece outlook for Porro. The biggest thought was like Aston Villa has to return to form at some point. Watkins and his friends all have to start scoring goals at some point. As much as I'm, again, putting my trust in the Everton defense, I'm not expecting a clean sheet here. And if I can split up that defensive hit between a starter and a bench player instead of starting Tarkowski, lower upside, lower downside is really the way that I'm looking at it. So right now it's Tarkowski on the bench. This leaves me with a grand total of 1.4 million in the bank. And so what that's going to mean is next week, almost certainly Tuanzebe is going to become someone much more substantial. And bringing him out of the team, 5.3 to work with for defenders. I mean, if I just take a quick look right now at who's available at that price, Chelsea defenders or Chalobah, just him, is top of the list in terms of total points so far. Guéhi, Lacroix, sorry. Crystal Palace defenders are certainly high up on the list for me as far as the radar goes. Dan Burn at Newcastle is available. I'll have to check the fixtures on that. So we'll be talking more about that, looking more closely at that for next week. But possibly a Chelsea defender if they're affordable, possibly a Crystal Palace defender, although something in my soul just really doesn't like going there. Newcastle defense should still be reliable even if the attack is questionable. So we have options. That's my email. I put it on Cardioid, so hopefully you didn't hear that. That's my team, guys. We've done it. We've made the decision. We've clicked that red button. We've shot everything we had, and we're just going to see what happens. Gakpo takes the vice-captain's armband. Erling Haaland is keeping the captaincy. I feel good about that. He's probably going to get a triple captain soon. And worst-case scenario, again, I still have my free hit. I still have my wild card. I'm hoping that I can make, again, one or two more transfers, see if Guiu gets any minutes at all for Chelsea. Again, certainly with, and I didn't even think about that before just now, but again, if Joao Pedro is out, who knows if that's a 30 minutes at the end of the game for Mark Guiu and what he could do. Obviously, I'm keeping him on the bench, but who knows if that means a price rise, if people start, the idiots that play this game start flocking to him. Tuanzebe, I'm planning on bumping up, and then if I can get Dubravka to someone more serviceable like a Petrovic over at Bournemouth, then I really could be looking at a feasible bench boost within the next couple of weeks, and then wild card to get out of it. The biggest, hurtful, the ones that hurt the most to not have right now, the ones who hurt my feelings is the fact that I don't have any Arsenal assets. So I did go, and this really helped flip the switch for me, get over the hump, but I did go on FPL Review, which is an excellent tool if you're not aware of it, free to use, where you'll input your team number. Again, if you go to points on your page to look at the last game week's points, and if you go up into the URL, you will get to take a look in the URL. There's a 6-7 digit code number, maybe shorter if you signed up earlier, that you will identify your team specifically. And so you can put that into tools like FPL Review, like Live FPL, like FPL Optimized, to look back and look forward and make decisions. And even look currently, if you're at FPL, look at Live FPL if you're wanting to see how your team is doing mid-game week. All great tools, and I'd like to make a video on them at some point, going into a little more detail, again, for any FPL beginners out there. But I went on FPL Review. It's free to use. You put in your team, and it'll scrape your last game week, including how much money you have in the bank, how many free transfers, who's currently on your team, and you can ask it with a 4-game week outlook to calculate the optimal transfers. And Salah out was the top transfer. I'll pull it up right now for my online viewers here just so you can take a look. We'll edit this out. So plug in my team ID, and if you want that is 2740311. If you want to see how my team is doing during the week, if you want to decide how you would have done it better, you are more than welcome. Now, again, this only pulls what's publicly available about the team, and those transfers aren't publicized, if you want to think of it that way, until the game week deadline closes and the game updates. So as far as live FPL, as far as FPL Review knows, I still have Salah and Miley on my team. If I hit just transfer solver here, 4 game weeks out, solve. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 would be the 4 game weeks that it's solving for. We'll see if I get anything different now than I did earlier. But I swear, I promise you that Mo Salah was one of the top, if not the top. It was suggesting to bring Salah down to Gakpo and bring in Gyökeres as a striker. That certainly was tempting. He's good. I like him. I'm happy enough to see him. Yeah, now they want me to get rid of Haaland, which is beyond retarded. So I can't. Yeah. So one of the top option that includes Salah, and whatever's changed in the last, however many hours, it's fifth on the list. Believe me or not, it was much higher up on the list. They're suggesting Salah to Semenyo and Mark Guiu to Gyökeres. That's not a bad idea. I don't hate that. I certainly could see a world in which it makes sense for me to do that. I feel fine on Semenyo just for the fact that I already have Evan Nielsen, so I'm not too worried about bringing him in. But Guiu up to Gyökeres certainly sounds nice, and again, having Evan Nielsen and Haaland alongside him is interesting and exciting. So maybe in another life, that's what we did. I mean, again, there's one option where they want me to go Tuanzebe up to Van Dijk and Haaland down to Gyökeres, which is just crazy to me. A couple Haaland to Gyökeres suggestions, which I would never do in a million years. But listen, I'm not the AI, and I think that's what these tools are good for, is not plugging in all the stats, all the numbers, and saying, what decision do you want me to make? It's getting your own ideas, thinking of, how you feel and what works best for your team, and then comparing that to what the AI is telling you, saying, do I like this option? Do I not? Am I getting new ideas? Is that something I would do? Is that how I would play the game? So I think it's certainly good for something, but always, above all, play your own game, and I'm certainly happy to say that I'm playing my own game this week. So Palmer's in, boys. Salah's out. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully Gakpo keeps up the good work, and shout out again Johnny Havens for even starting the season with him in the first place. I'm inspired. So thank you guys. That's all I have for you today. Just a quick little shout out episode with my transfer updates, with my news. I do want to just close really quickly. We talk a lot about win of the week. That's my joke, my little let me update you with my life before we get into the FPL. It's been a very, very dark week this week with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and I don't know where you stand politically if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, but it's a very severe moment for this country, and it's a moment that's hit me and shaken me very hard. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, you can check out my personal YouTube channel, A Real Boon, if you want to listen to that, and I do plan on talking more of my political thoughts over there, just because I feel like in light of these moments, I really can't afford to be silent when someone else's voice is silenced for speaking out on these things. I really don't think I can afford to be silent anymore. So that's all I'm going to say on this show. I'm not going to make this a political podcast over here at Squad Talk, so don't worry about that. If you want my thoughts, you can check me out, A Real Boon, on YouTube. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. I hope you get out there. Hope you win this weekend on the FPL team there, and I hope you get out there and win your week for yourself. Thank you guys.